Good morning, friends. My name is Ashutosh Garg. I work as a solution provider with Furnace Improvements. Our company is in the business of design, engineering, and supply of fired heaters. We provide fired heaters with lowest emissions, longest run length, and highest efficiency. This webinar today is born out of our experience and dealing with end users for more than 40 years. This is our sixth webinar, and I welcome you all. We'll be talking about fired heater specifications beyond 560, API 560. It is a very challenging and difficult topic. We'll be talking about fired heaters and how to improve them further. Fired heaters, as you all know, are one of the largest equipment in the refinery and chemical plants. They have a very long life and cost a lot of money to build. It is not easy to modify the fired heater once they are built. So my hope is that when you go back after this webinar, you would be in a better position to take a second look on the fired heater specifications for your next project. Learning is a continuous process. We have learned so much in the past month while preparing for this webinar. Please don't hesitate to ask me a question. Please feel free to share your experience with us. We are going to conduct this webinar through PowerPoint presentation. We will have the presentation for 50 minutes and then question answer session for 10 minutes. We have been able to improve our webinars based on your feedback. I request all of you to complete the survey before you leave and send it to us. I will start the session today with a brief introduction of myself. I'm a chemical engineer. I passed out from IIT Kanpur in 1974. Since 1976, I've been working on fired heaters and combustion systems. I have worked with KT India, Engineers India, and then KTI Corporation in US. Since March 1996, I've been working at Furnace Improvements, fixing heaters for the past 25 years. I'm also a member of AICHE, ASME, and API 560 Subcommittee for Heat Transfer Equipment. I want to start by thanking our team in the US and New Delhi for working hard for past 2 weeks. Our team of process, mechanical, engineers and designers have been working on putting this presentation together. I am just the presenter today. I also want to talk about that our webinar service can cater to only 100 participants at a time. We had an overwhelming response to the webinar, and we were forced to cancel a few registrations in order to limit to 100. I hope we will be able to upgrade our plan for the next time. I apologize to all those who were not able to join our webinar. You will be able to view the recorded version later. So today we want to make sure that everybody can log into the webinar correctly. You will see a control panel on your left on your screen. You should be able to select the sound of audio input either through your phone or your computer. And there is also a question box at the bottom. You should be able to type your question in the question box and send it to us. There is an orange arrow on the top, and you can minimize the control panel on your screen by hitting the top red arrow. We will make the webinar recording available to you in case you are not able to sit through the full session or you miss any part of the presentation. If you're not able to hear clearly or has a display issue, please send us a message and my colleague will be able to take care of the problem. So before I start our presentation, I want to give a brief introduction of our company. Furnace Improvements started in 1996. We will be completing 25 years in business this year in March. We currently have 3 offices. The head office is in Sugar Land, Texas. Our main office, engineering office, is in Noida, India. We started out in 2005. We have about 30 people in that office. We are carrying out process, mechanical, structural design drawings, as well as 3D modeling in that office. We are a full service heater company. We execute projects on a turnkey basis, including erection. Our CFD office is in Pune, India. We started it in 2014. Our CFD team has been working exclusively on combustion, heat transfer, and fluid flow problems. More than 90% of our business in the past 20 years has been fixing old fired heaters. We try to breathe new life in these furnaces. It appeared to us that end users and owners were being neglected, so we started with training courses and started interacting with the clients directly. Even today, our model is working directly with the end users. We provide value-added solutions to our client. Our patented inclined firing system can be used in vertical cylindrical heaters, new as well as existing, and it has proven to lower the tube metal temperature by more than 100 degrees F in many heaters. Our patented stack damper control system will ensure proper draft control and excess O2 in your fired heaters. The good news is both these technologies do not cost any additional investment, but provide reliable and efficient operation. Well, let's come to the agenda today. We will start with a brief introduction and talk about the background of APF 560 fired heater specifications. We'll also talk about typical procurement procedure for fired heaters, which is being followed in US and elsewhere. Then we will focus on key parameters and specifications that are missing in APF 560. We'll talk about how you can get the best fired heater for your next project on a budget. In the end, we will have a question and answer session for 10 minutes. We want the session to be interactive and about you, so please send me as many questions and queries as possible so that we can all learn. I also want to take this opportunity to thank our clients for placing trust in us and helping us grow for the past 25 years. We are a very small, focused company, and most of the business we get is through word of mouth. Our motto is to do it once, do it right the first time. We don't want to be fixing heaters again and again. We fix heater one and that is it. One time we do it and that's it. So I'm presuming all of you are familiar with fired heaters. Fired heaters are high temperature heat transfer equipment. They are used wherever heat exchangers cannot be used. The chemical energy in the fuel gas or fuel oil is converted to thermal energy in flames and flue gases. The burners perform the task of combustion of fuel with air to produce high temperature flames. Radiant section is a place where bulk of the heat is transferred by radiation. Convection section is a section after radiant section where heat is recovered from flue gases by convective means. And the cold flue gases are vented through the stack for safe disposal. The fluids which are heated in fired heaters are generally hydrocarbons, liquid and gases, although they could be steam as well, steam and but that's generally, and here we are showing we are showing a cabin heater and we are showing a vertical cylindrical heater just as a sketch to see these are the two most common requirements for configurations, two common configurations for fired heaters. So let us talk about APF 560 And I want to start from the time before API 560. So refining industry, as you all know, is about 120 years old approximately. And for the first 50 to 60 years, the refiners had the know-how for the fired heaters. Companies like Exxon, Shell, Standard Oil, Mobil, they had the know-how and they would be designing fired heaters and will be getting it fabricated for them, using fabrication. I think around 1940s later or 1950s, few engineering companies like Foster Wheeler, Lummus, Kellogg acquired and developed fired heater know-how, maybe by working with refineries and started offering heater designs. Since 1970s, the business grew at a very fast pace, and many other heater companies came into existence throughout the world. API has played a very useful role in the industry because prior to API 560, there was no heater standard which could be used by independents or by any engineer. It brought the users, engineers, and manufacturers together to work and develop an engineering standard for 560. So the one thing which I want to talk about, and if you see what I have highlighted in red over here, is the primary purpose of API 560 is to establish minimum mechanical requirements. If you have access to the first edition of API 560, you will see that statement very, very clearly. That API 560, the intent here is to establish minimum mechanical requirements. Now the question is, do you want minimum specifications or you want good specifications that can lead to reliable and efficient heaters? The industry experience is thinning and specifications needs to be reinforced and strengthened. So API 560 no doubt is a good document, but I think time is calling for it to be strengthened. So those of you who are not familiar with API, API is American Petroleum Institute. It has a subcommittee on heat transfer equipment that looks after all heat transfer equipment, fired heaters, exchangers. Now they have started looking at steam reformers, so many components, burners. API started working on the standard 560 sometime in late 1970s. And they have been working on for more than 40 years. The committee consists of end users, engineering companies, burner vendors, fire heater vendors, refractory vendors, fan vendors, so many vendors making contributions. The good thing is all meetings are open to everyone and technical matters are discussed at length. Sometimes these committee members meet in between the meetings to complete it. I've been an active member of the committee for almost 30 years. One observation is the subcommittee composition has changed drastically in the past 30 years. The committee used to have a majority of end users in 70s and 80s, but now it is dominated by vendors. The committee goal is to strengthen fire heater specifications. And that is where I think I have an issue today I want to talk about is I felt that it has in 40 years, it would have become like a gold standard. But I feel that it got diluted in many important areas. Now, API, as I said, has many other standards. API 530 was the first standard developed for calculating tube thickness for fired heaters. In the last 25 years, we have API 535 for burners, API 536 for SCRs, API 673 for centrifugal fans. There are a number of APIs now. And overall, these standards represent a very good knowledge put together. API 560 is a very well-respected document in the industry, and it is followed all over the world. The document was first issued in 1986. It was revised in 1995. Since then, 3 more editions have been issued. The third came in 2001, then the fourth in 2007, and the fifth edition is in 2016. They try to issue a new standard every 5 years, and my hope is, I think in the next couple of years, they will issue another revision. API standard today is a comprehensive document covering 400 pages. The standard is so good that you can end up with a just one-line specification asking people to follow API 560 and your job is done. But the question today is, in the past 50 years, the times have changed. The industry has undergone a big change in the last 50 years. Reliability has become #1 issue for the industry. The owners want to run their heaters forever at the maximum capacity. One unplanned shutdown can cost millions of dollars. It is estimated that average loss due to equipment downtime could be as high as $250,000 an hour. So one day loss could be tagged at about $6 million or more. So you can see the reliability has become the #1 factor. And somehow we missed it completely in API 560. We find that a lot of improvements can be made to fired heaters in the design stage. It is always cheaper to fix things on paper than in the field. There have been several improvements in the industry in the past 50 years. We have much better shop fabrication and modularization capabilities, automation in manufacturing, better materials, better alloys, new refractory materials. There has been a revolution in the instrument and controls in the past 50 years. So I don't see why we cannot have very reliable fired heaters in the current times. So we can get better and reliable heaters with better heater specifications. I don't see any issue over here. So I want to talk about typical procurement procedure for fired heaters. Let us talk about typical procurement procedure which is followed in US and most of the world. So when a project is starting, most end users hire a technology company or licensor to prepare a feed package or a process package. This package contains process data sheet for fired heaters and they are passed on to EPCs. EPC and client get together and develop basic data sheet for the fired heaters. And this is what is used for getting FEL1 or FEL2 or FEL0 estimate for the project. The quickest way for EPC companies to contact 1 or 2 familiar fired heater vendors and get budgetary proposals. EPCs firm up the project cost estimates and submit it to the client and project gets approved. And once the project is approved, EPC floats a firm inquiry for procuring heaters. They use the previous bids obtained to firm up the heater data sheets and go out for bids by attaching all the engineering specifications. The complete inquiry package runs in thousands of pages. Another trend in the industry in the past 15-20 years is to club heater piping and instrumentation together, fuel gaskets, burner management, etc. in heater vendor scope. Most heater vendors are not equipped to handle this type of work, and it is most of the time subcontracted. Heater vendors design, engineer, and supply the heaters the best. That's what my observation is.